is Darren from Rebot and from Australia. So our first contestant is up. Darren, thank you very much.
Thank you, Simon.
There's the big clock.
Hello, everybody. There's my footnotes. Yes, I'm Darren from Rebot from Australia. And I was chatting to my assistant this morning that is very intelligent and evolved. And she came up with that information upstairs that you're looking at behind me. My pitch today is about Rebot, and I won't be telling you today that the bot controls the entire process of the transaction, but maybe in the future I will be. Robocops are coming, I have no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind. So welcome to Rebot. I've spent years in the industry drilling into every use case that exists in the real estate industry in Australia. I've been through the whole process on both sides of the transaction, both as a franchisor and an agent, etc., etc. My conclusion in all that research is that first-hand data is the data to have, and that's what Rebot has. Our journey, 25 years, eventually what we ended up with is this propensity to sell model, and I'll talk about that quickly. We've got agile, scalable teams. I can scale them up and down on demand. And I've got an industry veteran advisor and investor list. We've had the first round, friends, family and fools. We've made that runway go for 4 years. In that 4 years, we've built the propensity model from the ground up. This is our model. It's entirely our model. We call it baby. It's a baby. It's learning. I've got some news hot off the press this morning. We just ran the numbers back to the 1st of January this year. We've spat out 800 leads to an agent. 8% of those leads have come to market since the 1st in 2025. 2% by the agency that we gave the list to, and 8% are missed listings. The propensity model uses the data out of the CRM. We format the data, we put the propensity model on top, we look for market events, we do everything around whether the property is going to sell. What the model gave us was market events, not just propensity to sell. It gave us this property is going to lease or release as well as to sell. Then we feed the model the data from the agents back into the model, and we retrain it and tell it if it's done a good or a bad job. We are responsible finance managers. As I said, we've got the R&D, Australian Government R&D tax incentive grant. So if you give me $1 million, I can turn it into $1.5 million because the government gives me money back. Our competitors are probably the CRMs, a bit of Nurture Cloud, a little bit of the portal. But as I said, if everyone has the best data, everybody benefits. So Rebot can do that for everybody. Our business model is a core subscription to an agency that's generally paid by the franchisor. Then there's a user subscription for the app. And once the propensity model turns into perhaps a teenager, we can license that out to you. We're looking for 10% of the industry to have a $6.6 million business, and 50% of the industry will give us a $29 million business. Our ask is $1 million, Australian dollars, for 10% of the company. The way that we're going to spend that money is like that. We've got governance already. We've got all the agreements in place. We've got some solid seed clients Barry Plant Group, for those of you who know Australia. They are also seed investors, and they're the seed client who've been paying us the subscription. So we've tested our model on 2 million consumer records from that one franchisor. We've got some letter of intentions sitting in my inbox, and we've got a very solid market pipeline of franchisors that are interested. We are coming out of the closet now, literally. We've been in stealth mode for the last 4 years. You wouldn't have heard from us, but now you will. AI is here, but Rebot isn't AI. It just has AI. We just use AI. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Let's hand over to, who would like to go first from the judges?
I'll try. So I'm going to actually ask a different question, and I'm going to ask the same question to everybody, is if in one sentence, can you pitch to me as if I was a customer, a potential customer? Because it's one thing to invest in a business because we think it's investable, but the question as well is, can you sell the product that you're actually selling? So in one sentence, how would you sell to me if I was
It depends what market you're in, okay? And depends what level of experience you've got.
Sure.
But definitely I would say we create signal from the noise, and we actually bring the gold out of your database. Put it in your hot little hand.
And in terms of addressable market, at the moment, you're obviously focused on Australia. Is that
Focused on Australia. We've got hot leads into New Zealand, which I'm very excited about. And the way that we're going to do that is through vendor paid marketing. So we've got a partnership coming up who've already got traction in New Zealand with vendor paid marketing. And they're going to give us a leg up into that country with all of their clients. We just expand the database. So our database is based on the grid. In Australia, we have 30 million addresses in our grid. All we do is install New Zealand, and then we install New Zealand on the cleaner, because I didn't talk about the cleaner, but we have a rules engine with 500 to 1,000 rules that apply on addresses, contacts, phone numbers, names, Irish names, Greek names. We have a whole rules engine, and all we do is pick that model up and change it to New Zealand.
Okay, thank you, Darren. So the one thing I don't know if I understand, how does the product sit on, so for example, if I have a CRM, I want to understand how, if I'm a potential customer, how long it would take me to implement it, where does it sit? I mean, I understand from a user perspective, but from a data perspective, can you touch a little bit more about that?
Excuse me. So we pull the data out of the CRM and we reformat it. We put the propensity model over the data. We hit the market to find out more information about that data. We look for signals from portals. Please give it to us around other engagement metrics. And then we give the agent an app. The app, it hits the button, calls the list. It brings the top of the propensity model into the app. They make the call. We record the call. We centralize the call. We blah, blah the call. We put the data back into the CRM.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you.
I also have actually 2 or 3 questions. So maybe the first one quickly. For the data you use, based on the data, you're also training your model. So the more data you get, the better the model is, right? So how do you convince your users to give you the data because they are sharing the proprietary information with you?
Excellent question. There's an element of trust, definitely, but we have quite serious agreements with them that very clearly say we isolate it. We actually ring-fence their data, so your database doesn't mix with his database, but we do have a shared market database that we allow you access to and we allow you access to. So you can contribute to that shared market database, but your data will stay isolated.
Okay. So in that sense, the client wouldn't be sharing the information with other competitors?
No.
Okay. And I also have a question about the market size, because you mentioned 50% market share would mean $30 million, implying market of 60 million. And from investment perspective, this is rather a small market size. So are you looking to expand to other regions, or what would be the way to increase the market size more significantly from your perspective? Any other revenue streams potential or other opportunities?
Excellent question. We could easily take the user model into other countries. That would be easy. But what isn't in the projections that I gave you is the subscription on the propensity feed. So once that baby turns into a teenager, and we can license to you the propensity data. So you feed us addresses, and we'll give you back a score, a selling score or a market event score, and you can license that feed from you, and then the app can disappear, but that's really where the money's going to be.
Okay, thank you. And I think we have time for a last question. Can you share a bit more on the business model and the subscription agreement? What's the pricing level?
The pricing is for agency $900 1 month, and for the agent to use the app is $99. So generally the franchisor or the business owner pays the agency subscription for the data, and that keeps us incremental updates, keeps us allowing to get market data for that database, and then the agent calls in to get their data, and that's the $99. So the agent can pay their own subscription, and the business owner can pay the database subscription.
Thank you.
Darren, fantastic. Thank you very much
Thank you, Simon.
for the presentation.